And welcome back. I have the pleasure of sitting down with four wonderful ladies this morning, three of whom are our guests and awardees for the 2019 Outstanding Women Awards. And we have with us Althea Seeley, who's the founding member of the Belize National Dance Company. We also have Andrea Rodriguez, who's an entrepreneur. And we have Eva Burgos, who's the director of Joven, Belize Alumni Association. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much for having us.
So, go ahead.
First of all, I want to start off by getting your reactions from even being nominated and what I know Althea is not somebody who likes the acclaim. You know, she's one of these, behind the scenes workers who still deserves it. But what was your first reaction by even being nominated for such an award?
Okay, I'll start. Well, I was flabbergasted as well because I'm another person. I like behind the scenes. I like to see people shine, but not put me on the spot. But it feels good. Honestly, it feels good to be recognized for the work and the passion that you put in what you do.
Yeah. I don't know, I think I'm still in shock. It hasn't really sunk in yet because I remember getting the call saying that I was nominated, and I was like, I was doing the dishes and I was like, oh, okay then. And I was like, maybe I should have sung it a little bit more excited. I was like, okay then, thank you. And, I remember calling my family and saying, I got nominated for something, but, I thought that was just it. I didn't know if I would actually get an award. So, when I found, it came real when I saw it on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay then. And, so it's still sinking in for me, but it does feel good. Yeah.
Yes, for me, it's quite appreciable knowing that, indeed, as what the team from mine is saying, that you don't wait until somebody dies to tell them they're good. Yeah. So, likewise, I do appreciate.
Yeah.
So, here's how this will work, because people are probably saying, well, how does this work? So, every year, this particular award program is put together, and nominations come out of different NGOs and different governmental departments, and because who knows better about who's doing the type of work in their field or community. So let's start with you, Andrea. You were nominated by the Women's Department in Cayo, specifically for the work that you've been doing with pregnant moms, and childbirth and all this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times you start doing something just because you recognize the need, not for the accolades. Talk to me about what you saw that prompted you into action.
It was 5 years, this year will make 5 years that we started the center, and I've always had a thing to help people. And I would see these people, young girls and older women pregnant and struggling and just looking so lost all the time, and you would hear people saying, well, why not go have a picnic if they can't mind a picnic, things like that, and I'm like, but not everybody went and did it on purpose. There must be another side to the story, and I like to be a part of the solution. I don't want to be on the sidelines saying they shouldn't have done that, this, that. And so I was always trying to figure out how I could help them, and then I got approached by this lady, Miss Jaden Ritzer, and she used to do a pregnancy center in the States. And she put a call out if anybody wanted to join her in starting one. And I said, me, raised my hand. And she said, sure. And so we came together. Out of the meeting, only 2 people showed up. And I was one of those women that started with her. And we started out with barely any money. We didn't know how we were going to get funding. And to date, we've had over 460 women come through our doors. And we have an average weekly visit of 45 to 50 women coming.
Wow.
And then I realized that women are going to have babies and have no idea. All when they know that, painful, it will hurt. And they go stressed out. I saw the treatment they were getting at the hospitals, and I said, okay, we need to do something more. So I started to learn how to become a childbirth educator, and I started to teach women the labor process, breathing and exercise techniques, all these different things that would help them to have a better labor, and it totally transformed these women, they would come back like,
And it's
"Oh,
not
thank
just
you."
first-time moms. It's like people
No.
who are going back for their,
Yeah,
their second or
because
third pregnancy.
I like to work it first and second time, but if there's a big gap in between, anybody is welcome. So I've been doing that for a while.
So you're the live version of what to expect when you're expecting.
Yes, I like to think so. And I will go and hold your hand too. I say, okay, remember to breathe.
Yeah.
You were you did broadcasting at a Christian television station, and that's, I assume, part of your Christian faith. How much of that you take into the work that you do for these mothers?
I think I don't separate it. You know, it's who I am, and so it is. I think it is what helps me to remain compassionate and to offer that support and love to these women that are coming in. Our motto that we use at the center is that every pregnant woman deserves love and support. It doesn't matter how they got pregnant or whatever, they need that love and support, and we're going to give it to them. So it is a part of who I am, and it's what inspires me to continue to do more. So, yeah.
Eva, so let's talk about your work. So you are the head of the Joven Belize Alumni Association, nominated through Our Circle. And so they recognize the work that you were doing specifically in HIV and young people. Talk to me about why you decided to undertake this work.
Okay, I think for me it was personal. I think I learned from a very young age that you cannot live your life looking at yourself from someone else's point of view. And to do that, you have to embrace your DNA, embrace your religion, embrace your everything about you. So this is why we kind of want to transmit this to our younger youth. But then through the process, working with young people, we realize it's not just about young people. We have older women who have not yet embraced themselves, have not reached to that level of acceptance of who they are. And that limits you as a woman. So I think the program that I work with really supports you to develop your own leadership, to find out who you are first, so that you're able to better benefit from your talents, your skills, but also transmit it to the other young persons. So it's really a passion of mine, working with young people. It keeps me young. I keep feeling young. But it also makes me realize that we like to say youth are our present, but they're also our future. So we don't have to look at them the now and here, but we also have to prepare them for the future. And the program does that, prepares them for whatever leadership they want to embark on.
I mean, I think similar to Andrea's situation where she sees a baby come to life, you have a built-in reward with the empowerment of young people or any of the people who reach out through your program. When you see a transformation take place, I mean, that's your gift.
Yeah, that's that, and I think that's the best award. Like, I've lived doing this for the past 12 years. And I've never felt like, every day I feel awarded when a young person comes to me and say, Miss Eva, no, I can voice my opinion, or Miss Eva, I got a job, you know.
Tell me one of those really, one of the stories that just makes you know that you were doing what you were meant to do.
Okay, when we started, there was this young lady, she single mom, youth, with 2 babies already. When she started the program, she felt lost. Like, she didn't understand certain things and why it was happening to her. She always said that she kept attracting men who, you know, were not healthy for her. But then she went through the program. At that time, she was a volunteer with DYS. So she began to improve herself, getting more capacity in proposal writing, in fundraising. She was able to write a project that benefited not only her, but other young females in her community who were teen moms. So, and now she is actually a youth officer from the Department of Youth Services. So, and I have many other stories that you can see the transformation from the now and where they are. I always say that when you work in projects and community-based organizations, you keep saying the funding is necessary, but not really. You know, with small little videos. We have phones now, so what we do now is do the before, like kind of do an interview with them, and then like after the program, you do the interview. Even the way they speak to you on that interview says a lot.
Wow.
Their growth shows growth.
And I see the pride in your face in what you do. And I think that is definitely admirable, because it's the type of work that goes without being recognized so often. And while with Miss Althea, while she tries so hard to stay behind the scenes, everybody knows this face. And I have to say big congratulations to you, because just through the show, I know how much you've worked and worked and worked to push the dance movement, to empower even the younger ones coming up in the group itself. You were nominated by Emergent Core. And so as an Outstanding Belizean Woman of African and Indigenous Ancestry Award. What does this mean for you?
First, it really, first of all, makes me feel proud to even be an African descent.
Yeah.
And it tells me that I need to continue on making that form of dance continue to exist, so that we don't lose the culture. And for more now, my feeling is much stronger in it, and make sure that the younger generation carries it on.
You have a different perspective. You have a body of work that you force yourself to look back on, as opposed to, being, because we're always, me personally, I was forcing you to look forward, continue in as the head there. But you can look back at a body of work. Your perspective is a little bit different from some of the younger awardees, in that they're looking a little bit forward to doing more. What advice do you give to them in terms of continuing work? Because this award is it's more of a tag of where you are now, as opposed to a guarantee that in the future you'll be able to have this level of success. How do you encourage them to continually be successful in what they're doing?
Okay, the younger generation, we try to make sure that we get them involved in knowing the roots of everything, where everything came from, especially dance form. For me, Babrino is my root. I took that right through up to this present moment, where we still have moments where in classes we sit, we educate them, we tell them more or less, this movement comes from here, this is the meaning of this, there's a movement for every situation in your life. Like, think folkloric wise, you wake up, we know that we have to wash, we have to scrub on a scrubbing board, through that way. And we have to sweep. We have to go to the market to sell products. So everything is cultural to that extent. And for us to let it continue to live on, so that they can carry it through and be successful about it, is to continue remind them more or less where we came from.
And I imagine the biggest struggle is always growing, especially in the industry that you're in, but also acknowledging the history and the roots of where you come from. At this time, when people really want to push for mainstream and, modernizing, especially in the arts.
That's the trouble that we have.
Yeah.
That's the trouble
How do
that
you
we're having
balance it?
now. It's hard. You find that sometimes you'll have a class that has at least 25 kids in there. And you might not succeed in getting that full 25 to really, but if you get a 5 and a 6, it is still good, because then if they stay through it all, then it's within them.
Yeah.
And for Belize, whenever, especially in the dance company, whenever we travel, it's not just one face you see. It's different faces, which always amaze our audience. As like, she looks like an Indian, she looks like an African, she looks like, they give us all faces, and that's what makes it beautiful.
Diversity.
But they all do the same movement.
Yeah.
Because right now we have Indian kids with us. We have one little girl, Homaira, And it amazed me whenever it's time for us to do a Garifuna dance.
Yeah. I think she's done one here in addition to her solo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just that it is a beautiful feeling to see different faces, but we're all doing the same thing, which tells, you know, who we are in Belize.
See, but Althea, you also have the experience to share with people that moving outside of Belize, you don't get there necessarily by doing what everybody else is doing.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
You get there
That's
by
what
showing
makes-
our unique
Right,
Belizeanness.
and that's what stands us out mainly, because when we travel abroad, you find that when you look at, say, the Asian or people from Indonesia, or what, they all have the same face. Belize has always been a country that travels, and we always make sure we have all the faces doing the same movement, and that really set us
So
off.
everybody do
different.
the punta, everybody
Everybody,
do
yes.
something
Yes.
along the lines of Mayan traditional
Right,
dance,
right.
Creole dance. Nice.
Right. So all the faces doing the.
Because when you have awards like this, it's an indication to other women who are probably struggling to say, don't worry, there are persons who we can identify who have gone through similar struggles and who have a level of success. So the award, as you were saying, is not only about you, it's about what you represent.
Yeah.
And my question is really geared towards the unheralded side of what all of you do. Every leader knows that most of what you do is painful. It's hard, blistering work. It's discouraging. Half of the time, I would assume you look around and say, man, I don't know if I want to continue this. Some people aren't grateful. You have criticism. You have all of these challenges. In talking to the people who are watching you get these awards, what can you tell them in terms of overcoming the struggles so they get to a place where they're also certified, not necessarily with an award, but to feel that they've gotten to a level of success over some of the problems that they're having? How do you overcome success? What is your advice to other women as to how to overcome adversity? Maybe I can start from
Yeah. Or anyone who feels,
I think it's when you have that passion, when you wake up every morning and that is the thing on your heart, you just have to be able to tell yourself, because I had to decide a long time ago that I couldn't wait for anybody else to say thank you or you're doing a great job. I had to be my biggest cheerleader. And that's what I would tell other women. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be the one that says, girl, you rock. Girl, you are doing great. Whose life are you going to touch today? You know, and so when you have that kind of mindset, when you realize that you're not doing it for what you will get per se or for the acknowledgements, but you're doing it because you want to make a difference in the world, then that is what helps you to press through the adversity and press through all of the naysayers and whatever. And at the end of the day, you can sit back, and if nobody claps, you're clapping for yourself. And so that's how I do it. Yeah.
And to add to that, I keep hearing some of our females say that you live once. I go like, no, you don't live once. You die once, but you live every day. Every day you wake up, you have a new opportunity to face whatever comes to you that day. I always tell my females, yes, we're just humans. We make mistakes, but we cannot pay for those mistakes forever. You know, have it, close that page, live a new day, and it's only your attitude that makes whatever you're going through worse or alleviates it. And another thing I would like to say is surround yourself with people who support you in a positive way. You know, be around people who puts a smile on your face, gives you a compliment. Sometimes every day at the office, I would try to compliment my other females. Some of them go like, why are you complimenting me? You need something? Because we're not used in receiving compliments. But it's nice to say, well, oh, I love your shoes. They look nice.
You don't compliment the men too?
Yes, you do. You do. You build that character. But even men, if you compliment them, you have to be careful how you compliment, because we're not a culture that we're used to receiving or giving compliments. So I try to instill that in especially the younger generation, because you can receive a compliment and that doesn't mean I need or want something from you.
Yeah.
So keep complimenting yourself, compliment your peers, your co-workers, and surround yourself with positive people.
Okay, in my field, there is a lot of struggle. Struggle in the sense of if you don't got finance, there's a lot that won't be able to get done. You have not getting support. Things like these, we have to go beyond that for us to continue on, which means that I personally, the struggles that I went through is that regardless of all the support that we're not getting, I looked at what I have is given to me by God. So, which means that no man will be able to stop me from doing what I want to do, in the sense of the field of sharing the talents with others. So you find that there is no money, but that doesn't mean that we stop. We continue on until someday something will push us back and we will get back. We have fallen many times. Right now we're in a little low because we're starting freshly with younger kids, and it will take time, but it's not a whole big company like what we had before, but it's a smaller company, but I'm already seeing progress in the ones that we have. I always mention to the dancers that when you're dancing, think about two things. You're dancing for yourself, and at the same time showing how you appreciate whatever talent God gave you. There are times when you perform on a stage, it's not that you have a million of people looking at you, right? Sometimes it's only few, but you still have to give your all. Dancers will say, I don't want to go there because there's so much small amount of people out there. They deserve the same as what a million of audience deserve. So I think when I install that in the dancers, in the sense that go out there and dance like you're dancing for yourself and be thankful for the talent God give you, it doesn't matter if 5 or 10 people looking on, you still do the same.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing just a little bit of your stories. Clearly, from what we're hearing, these awards are well deserved. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take that final break now. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.